Tonight, a Grand Prairie man faces murder charges in connection with the teen's death. The Dawson Creek Airport deals with Old Man Winter. And a Kelowna man has been arrested after 3 bodies were found in his home. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Hugh Smith. Grand Prairie RCMP have charged a man with second-degree murder. On Saturday, police were called to a home near the intersection of 94th Avenue and 100th Street, where they found 16-year-old Grand Prairie resident Hannah Sutton dead. An autopsy revealed she had died from a gunshot wound. Yesterday, the RCMP arrested Sutton's boyfriend, 19-year-old Justice Watt Blay, in connection with the murder. He is set to appear in court January 3rd. Today was a dreary, cloudy day, not making for ideal conditions for driving, but it also made flying difficult. Airplanes and pilots had to fight against the blowing snow for hours and will likely face the battle against Old Man Winter throughout the holidays. But as CJDC's Eric Tashner finds out, the Dawson Creek Regional Airport had it all under control.
With Christmas right around the corner, the Dawson Creek Regional Airport is seeing increased traffic. And that's normal this time of year. But before a plane lands, there are many things that need to happen first behind the scenes, especially in whiteout conditions like this afternoon. First things first is the runway. Maintenance operators like Brian McNeely drive big machines clearing the snow off.
If it's snowing lots, we're back and forth steady. We just get a light sniff of snow and it quits snowing, we can usually have it nice and clear in about an hour.
After the snow is gone, other maintenance workers like CJ check the runway's friction.
What we're about to do here is a friction test for runway surface condition. So it tells the pilots how slippery the runway is, how much braking force they can apply when they land.
The friction is scanned using a program called Tracker. Once he gets the information, CJ uses his computer to relay his message to incoming traffic. It's a mandatory task, especially around the holidays. But that's not all that needs to be done. This large piece of equipment called a grader is used to scoop up any other piles of snow and push it away from the runway.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I mean, our maintenance staff, when it snows on a day like this, they're constantly working. So we go out, we plow the runway, we sweep the runway.
There are many parts of the puzzle, as Sahota says, that keeps the airport running, especially around the cold winter holiday season.
The main goal is to make sure that passengers come in safe and our operation is as efficient as it can be.
Sahota expects a busy few weeks ahead as we fly off into 2018. Eric Tashner, CJDC TV News, Dawson Creek.
A man has been arrested in connection with the deaths of 3 people in Kelowna. Jacob Daniel Foreman has been charged with 3 counts of murder. Neighbors say he lived in this duplex in Kelowna with his wife and 2 children. On Tuesday, police surrounded the home and found 3 bodies inside. Then a makeshift memorial began showing up outside. Neighbors say they are a very quiet family, rarely seen, just the occasional hello as they came and went. A man named Jacob Foreman works for Ace Plumbing. A truck is still in the driveway. We're learning more tonight about one of the innocent victims hurt in that fiery crash on the Burrard Bridge early Tuesday morning. Christian Zelichowski is a popular bartender at a pair of Vancouver night spots, and today his co-workers are rallying around him. CTV's Ben Mojer has the details.
A high-performance sports car burst into flames after crossing the center line on the Burrard Bridge and smashing head-on into a taxi cab early Tuesday morning. The Audi destroyed, its driver dead at the scene. The driver of the cab and his passenger, Christian Zelichowski, both went to hospital with serious injuries.
We went straight to the hospital. We were unfortunately not allowed to see him.
Tiffany West has worked with Zelichowski for years at 12 West, a Granville Street nightclub. The popular bartender also worked at the local in Gastown, recently transferring over from the restaurant's Kits location.
Everyone's freaked out. We don't know what's going on, so we're kind of just hoping for the best and sending their family prayers and lots of light energy and love and trying to get through it day by day.
Zelichowski has damage to abdominal organs and broken bones in his spine, sternum, and ribs. He has already had multiple surgeries and more lie ahead on a long road to recovery.
He's definitely a tough guy, and he's got a lot of support from friends, family, colleagues, employers, so everyone's there for him, and we're pretty confident that he's going to come out on top.
Within hours of going online, a GoFundMe page for Zelichowski has raised tens of thousands of dollars as members of Vancouver's hospitality industry rally around one of their own who won't be able to work for a long time.
He's the funniest guy you'll ever meet, and he's just wonderful. We all love him. He's great. He makes jokes. He's already making jokes, his mom said, behind the bed between surgeries. So, I don't know. He's strong. He's going to make it.
The mother of a Port Coquitlam teenager who killed herself 5 years ago is speaking out about a book written by the man facing criminal charges for harassing her online. John Woodward tells us Amanda Todd's family is outraged that her accused tormentor is trying to make money from it.
Amanda Todd documented the vicious bullying the 15-year-old suffered in this video shortly before she committed suicide, tormented over Facebook and blackmailed, allegedly from across the world.
For Amanda, the story is very global.
Charged in the case, Aidan Coban, already sentenced to 11 years in the Netherlands for cyberbullying dozens of other young girls and gay men. But as he awaited extradition to Canada to face charges in Todd's case, Dutch reports say he smuggled a book from prison and published it. In the book, he claims the case against him is nothing but a media circus and character assassination, says the Canadian justice system is full of charlatans, and promises, "I will never accept the verdict. I am innocent. I have nothing to confess." Hard to read for Amanda's mom, Carol.
Aidan Coban is trying to manipulate the system and trying to get people, others, to believe his side of the story.
The book was posted for sale by Kobo, a Toronto-based publisher, for $14.89. After we called them, Kobo took the book off its website, but the company says no person made the decision to list it. That decision was made automatically by a computer. Similar to how a book by convicted serial killer Robert Pickton briefly ended up on the Amazon bestseller list 2 years ago.
I don't think saying it's just a computer program is a defense. At the end of the day, there are laws that exist.
Laws against profiting from crimes in BC, Ontario, and the Netherlands.
If he is making a profit on this book by sharing his perceptions and his so-called story, that's not right.
As Coban continues to use computers to make his presence felt from afar. John Woodward, CTV News, Vancouver.
At least 19 people have been injured, some of them critically, after a car plowed into a crowd of Christmas shoppers in Melbourne, Australia. The motive isn't clear yet, but police say it's not an act of terrorism.
Taken down and handcuffed on the street today, that's the alleged attacker, the driver of this white SUV. At rush hour today in Melbourne, Australia, officials say he plowed through pedestrians, blowing through stoplights, speeding up, hopping the tram line before crashing into a tram station, injuring 18 other people. Witnesses describe bodies flying into the air.
I saw people running, turned around, saw people just scattered on the road. Some of them were just non-responsive.
At this time, authorities giving no indication of his motivation, no evidence and no intelligence that suggests terrorism.
What occurred was an act of evil and an act of cowardice.
Another man nearby also detained. He was recording the incident on his cell phone and had several knives in his bag.
It's just really scary, obviously.
It's an horrific incident where a person has driven directly at pedestrians. It's a crime.
Police say the driver is of Afghan descent and has a history of mental illness, drug use, and a minor rap sheet with police. He was dragged out of his car here, restrained by an off-duty police officer. The officer remains in the hospital. The youngest victim, a 4-year-old boy, also injured.
This is horrific, it's evil, but we are not defined by these sorts of incidents.
The United Nations General Assembly has overwhelmingly voted to condemn a move by the U.S. to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. All UN member countries took part in today's vote. President Trump had threatened to cut funding to countries that opposed his decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The vote was 128-9, with 35 countries, including Canada, abstaining. The U.S. decision has prompted protests and demonstrations across the Arab world. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but first, here's what's happening where you live in tonight's community events.